Hello, hello! Welcome everyone! Thank you all for your suggestions under the previous video. I saw that many of you wanted a specific joseki or ways to deal with specific josekis, but while reading your comments I realized something, that in order to understand the opening standard move lines, we actually need to understand a little bit of middle game, specifically something called positional judgment. So today we will talk about it, yeah? There are many ways you can judge a position, but the one that we know the most well in English word would be those 4 factors over here. Number 1, which will be material balance. Number 2, piece activity. Number 3, king solidness. And number 4, initiative. So let's consider each of them separately. So what is material balance? Yeah, material advantage. What exactly is that thing? So as you guys probably know after you learned shogi rules, that each piece has a different movement, and therefore each piece has a different power. We all agree that pawn that goes only 1 square forward is clearly a very, very weak piece, right? So if we were to talk about numbers, pawn would be like 1 point. Then we have a knight that goes like this, right? Lance that goes like this. Those are more powerful than pawn. Usually we would think about them like 3 pawns. So if you exchange 3 pawns for 1 knight, it's an equal exchange. Yeah. And if we look at bad generals, they are both equal to each other. I mean, depending on the situation, everything changes, but let's keep it simple. They're equal to each other, and one of them is equal to 2 of the smaller pieces. So if I exchange 1 gold, let's say 1 knight and another knight, that's equal exchange. Similarly with big pieces, rook is a very powerful piece, but if I get 2 generals in exchange of 1, I can accept that. For the bishop, 2 generals would be really nice. Maybe 1 general and 1 light piece would be good. So speaking of points, this would be like 1, 3, maybe 5, 6. This is something like 9 or 10, right? Yeah, depending on the situation, you will want one or the other. So it's hard to tell which one is better. Let's think of them as equal, yeah? So those are equal, those are equal, those are equal. And each step kind of doubles its power. This one triples. Now, what's the value of the king? Of course, it's gonna be infinite because king is the most important piece on the board. So remember, before losing your rook, that you maybe wanna escape that check instead of saving the rook, yeah? Now, interesting thing I have also discovered, the promoted pieces also have like values. I mean, clearly we agree that Tokin is the strongest. Now, the weaker piece that's promoted actually will be stronger than another, so promoted lance will be a little bit stronger than the knight, a little bit stronger than promoted silver. And there is a clear reason for that. As you know, when we will exchange this piece with the enemy piece, what they're gonna get in hand is the unpromoted version. So here you have this strong pawn that behaves like a gold general that could be exchanged for a gold, and the enemy will get just a pawn in hand. How huge value is that, right? Some people say that Tokin is like a rook itself. Yeah, a very, very powerful piece. Well, giving the enemy a lance is of course less valuable. Giving a knight, and of course you don't want to give them a silver. So compared to Tokin, silver will have promoted silver will have much lower value. So remember, always make lots of Tokins, yeah? Now, how do we calculate the material balance during the game? Well, there is a nice thing you can notice about shogi pieces to begin with. When we start the game, we all have 9 pawns, right? We all have 1 bishop, 1 rook, 2 gold generals, 2 silver generals, 2 knights and 2 lances. So while playing the game, you can ask yourselves, am I missing a gold general? I'm supposed to have 2. Do I have 2 generals? Maybe I have 3. Maybe I'm missing a bishop, yeah? So by imagining this initial position, you can start calculating, yeah, what you are missing. Now also remember that if you take a piece in shogi, unlike let's say chess, where you lose that piece, in shogi it is double painful, let's say, because not only now Gote will be missing 1 piece, Sente will have actually 3 generals. So always remember that giving away a free piece it's a bad idea. And also, what's more terrifying, now because you gave away a free piece, your enemy would be able to gain even bigger disadvantage because they have more fighting power, right? So once your position crumbles, it's gonna go badly very quickly, yeah? Remember to have all your pieces connected, to not give away free pieces, and on the other hand, if you see a free piece, just take it. Yeah, getting a material advantage, like here a silver, is very, very easy way to win a shogi game. Alright, let's talk about piece activity next. What exactly is piece activity? It's about how useful your piece is. So this is our position for the 4-5 rook. We see that those generals are useful, they're creating a castle. Those as well. The bishop line is open. This bishop creates an important defensive barrier against the rook activity. It will be activated somewhere in the future as well. The rook is currently blocked, so we might reconsider moving this silver. But so is enemy attacking silver not developed yet. So those are those 2 points we would like to improve about this position, yeah? All the other pieces would be very, very useful. Now let's consider a little bit funny example. Let's say you have all the pieces possible, right? I told you, right, before, if you have piece advantage, it's easier to win, right? But how about we flip this position and reconsider? Yeah, enemy has all those pieces, but look what we do have. We have a very, very active piece currently. This bishop on 5-5. It's looking on the enemy king indirectly. We have 2 pieces in hand. Compared to enemy number of pieces, of course, 3 pieces mean nothing. But actually in this position they mean everything. Because we actually have a checkmate in 3 moves. As you can see, material advantage becomes really meaningless the closer we come to the endgame, and piece activity becomes really meaningful. What's important also in the middle game and later on in the endgame is the king safety, the castle solidness or king safety. Let's say we have a full Anaguma. If we have a castle like this, they have no way to deal a check to our king. There is no threat on our king, and we can take all our time with the attack, right? Here, enemy king will be under attack because all of those generals are not useful. Their king is very close to our attack, while our king is very far away from any danger. So clearly, in this position, our castle is A, more solid, because we have more generals, and king at the distance from the attack, and B, well, clearly they're in danger, and we are not, yeah? So our king is safer. Now, less obvious example, perhaps. Like here, we also will have a very, very solid castle, and they will also have a castle, but their castle is gonna be weaker. Why is it weaker? Well, the king is 2 squares closer to the center compared with our king, and our generals are all packed together, leaving no space, and they are under attack right now. On top of that, they have this silver, which currently is not a very active piece, yeah? Just to prove it. So for example, if we take this pawn and go here, and the enemy will go here, we can actually sacrifice the silver and gain a free rook. So in this case, yeah, we can simply talk, oh, if God didn't make a mistake, they would be better off. But that's not that simple. By creating this shape, we gave ourselves more time to create a stable attack. We gave ourselves more time until our king is checkmated, and more space for us to make mistakes, yeah? So piece solidness is something like this. It gives you time at the end of the game. So yeah, you wanna make sure that either your castle is as solid as enemy, your king safety is as good as enemy, or that you have a different form of advantage, let's say piece activity, that's gonna balance it out. And of course, I'm gonna state the obvious, but the initiative, it's probably the easiest one to understand. The one who decides the next move have control over the game, right? If you wanna attack, you can choose to attack. If you wanna choose to defend, you can defend. So having that turn is very meaningful in Shogi. De facto, the closer you run to the endgame, the stronger that a factor will be. But also, it is important that you do not waste it and you play the most efficient move possible on the board. And of course, choosing the most efficient move on the board isn't that easy. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not that simple that we have only those 4 factors and now we can understand all the shogi positions. No, each opening has different weight for those factors. Each phase of the game will concentrate on different things. There is other stuff, but yeah, that's why middle game is so complicated, yeah. By learning those 4 factors, you will start to have basic understanding what's going on, so please start with those 4. And to practice that, we're gonna look at 3 examples. Some people might recognize these positions from their games from certain tournament on our server. Here we have a position where the player on the top played this silver, and I would like you to consider, like based on those factors that we have, who is better. And there is, I'm gonna give you a hint, there is a clear winner in this position. The question is just why. So we're gonna start with the material balance. We're gonna calculate, yeah, both sides have a rook in hand, so that's equal. Now, center has 2 bishops. But, yeah, okay, 2 golds, that's equal. But 1 silver, 2 silvers, 3 silvers. So Gote has 1 more silver. So we're talking about bishop for a silver exchange. Bishop for a silver, well, we can say that benefits center, because bishop is better than the silver, right? Okay, so number 1 goes to center. What about number 2, piece activity? So all the pieces look quite active. Those golds close to the king, those 2 pieces close to the king as well. This knight is not active, this knight, and this lance. So those pieces are equal, we can omit them, yeah? But what's important here is perhaps the difference between this silver and this gold, as well as this vanguard pawn. This gold currently does nothing, it's sitting on the right side of the board. This silver has an option to go here and immediately threaten the enemy castle, right? So this would be very good. On top of this pawn existence, yeah, is huge as well. The bishop, you know, it seems like it's doing nothing, but actually it's affecting a lot of defensive squares as well. And of course this knight being here as compared to this knight, it has a huge impact over this position. So this point goes to Gote. How about king safety? Well, I guess we all can agree at a glance that this looks much safer than this. Yeah, there is a possibility of check for Gote on the next move. The number of generals, 2 versus 3, is also a big factor. So that goes to Gote as well. And the initiative, actually, even though it's now center turn to move, initiative goes to Gote as well. Because Gote has control over the situation. What was played was this move, and you can see now Gote can choose to, let's say, continue attacking, yeah? So Gote now will have turn to choose an attacking move once more. So even in this position, again, turn belongs to center, but Gote has the initiative. So overall, yes, Gote has much advantage here. I mean, you don't have to consider all the factors in such detail. At a glance, if we were to simplify it, this gold looks very bad, and Gote has a good attack. So this position is very good for Gote, if we were to simplify it, yeah? Let's see another one. Now, of course, the closer we get to the endgame, the harder it is to tell, because our factors will change. But how about this position? Yeah, this is a professional game. We are losing a rook here, right? If we were to use our own factors, yeah, this side actually have 4 big pieces. We are 2 big pieces behind. This side has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 generals. So perhaps we're compensating one of those big pieces. Then, knights. Knight and lance we don't have. This knight is in our hand, so we are also low on knights. Again, the point goes to Gote, right? They have also this advanced pawn looking very scary. How about piece activity? Well, bishop doesn't look very active yet. Knight looks very active, rook looks very active. This piece is doing something, this piece is also kind of protecting from the knight. Those pieces are protecting, all the pieces are active. This is amazing about pro games. No pieces left aside, yeah? Pieces in hand all have value. Hard to tell. How about king safety and initiative? So this is where the trick lies. Yeah, we are actually in the end game. Because enemy has only one general protecting its king. And this move gives huge advantage to center. All that we talked about, yeah, material advantage, piece activity kind of stops working the closer we get to the end game. How fun is it, yeah? So yeah, remember, those factors will have different weight depending on how close to the end game we have. And my advice is the first factor, material advantage, is the strongest in the beginning of the game. It's pretty strong later on as well. Piece activity is probably one of the most important things overall through the whole game. King safety is also always important, but because the goal of the game is to capture the king is the utter importance in the end game, right? And the initiative will matter also the more the closest we are to the end game. Because once more, if you are able to decide, hey, I have to my win, that's gonna win you the game, right? If you have a checkmate, you're gonna win. So yeah, try it out in your games. Try to find out, maybe, yeah, that's my recommendation to you guys. Take your game, put it in a computer, try to pick up a position, try to analyze it yourself, and then see what the computer says and does it agree with you. And then if it doesn't agree with you, I recommend you to post it on Discord and ask stronger players, what did you do wrong about it, yeah? So yeah, of course, you know, positional judgment is very important in Shogi. Then, of course, there's only half of a battle. Then, on top of that, we have to choose the most efficient move. And yeah, that's not an easy thing to explain. If it was easy, anybody could be Fujisota, right? So we were gonna go step by step, feeding you those valuable mid-game lessons. Maybe explain some Joseki lines on the way. But that's all for now. See you in the next one. Bye bye!